All right, it's right start on a Thursday morning, starting your day with a smile. We have in studio Dr. Shine O'Connor. He made it. He made it in, and he's ready. I wonder what's going on. Yeah, he made it in, and despite the traffic. This morning, while we're talking, he mentioned to me a very interesting topic that we're going to be dealing with this morning. Should married people have children?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dwayne. Good morning, everybody, and we welcome you again to another beautiful Thursday morning right here in Grand Cayman. A little cloudy on the outside. I had some raindrops this morning, and I think that may have created even additional. I don't know. Before we get into the subject matter, I still need to talk to the expertise to see why is it that we do that the traffic tends to be affected even without rain, even if it's just cloudy. The traffic gets slow.
It's caution. That's all.
Probably. But yeah, it is good to be here with you, and we welcome all of you who have decided to join us. So this morning we're continuing our discussion on family matters and taking probably deeper dive into the whole area of bringing children into the relationship. Mm-hmm. And we spend so much time talking about husbands and wives and how do we prepare ourselves, how do we find the right partner, what are things we look out for. We spend a lot of time working on those pieces of the puzzle as it relates to getting happy marriages and happy family. And so we want to kind of push past that a little this morning and look at, okay, now we are married, and the big question is, should we have children, right? And if we decide to have children, what are the factors that we need to take into consideration? What is the timing that is right? And what are the things we need to consider before? And so I've decided to open that subject matter for a number of reasons, because in my experience, both as a family therapist, as a clinical psychologist, and also as a pastor, mm-hmm. I've come to realization that many couples mm-hmm. do not understand or even appreciate the dangers that come with the introduction of a child into the relationship. Mm. Yeah, we generally see the happy piece of it. We are excited about the idea of a baby coming. Everybody's excited about that. But there's huge strain, serious strain, in the scene that pregnancy brings into the relationship that is never normally talked about, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. Because most time the individuals suffer in silence, and or probably we see them in our offices. But what the public sees most of the time is a jubilation.
It's a good show.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's a jubilation and a celebration. And by the way, there's good reason for it, all right? But, as I'm now speaking, here's what just came to my mind. In the pregnancy process, right, you have the pleasure mm-hmm. that starts the process, right? The sexual intercourse or the pleasure that starts the process. And then comes the pain, right?
Yes.
Of 9 months of carrying this child, and then the actual pain of delivery. But after that major pain of delivery comes the joy, mm-hmm. right? The birth of the child and the joy. Well, in the same way, after the excitement of having a child in the relationship, and then comes the pain.
Possible. Let me just back up a little bit.
Yes.
Because I think I might be more qualified on this topic than you. Right? It's something that I've studied. Like yes. I've watched many years. As a matter of fact, I have children and I love them to my heart. But for many years, I swore I was not going to have a child
Ah,
for a number of reasons.
Mhm.
One, and this is more than 20 years ago, I thought that the world was not the best place to bring
to
a
bring
child.
children. Mhm.
I didn't think I would be capable enough to manage a child in the world
Yes.
that was 20 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
So
I wonder if you were that age now, you probably would even decided no worse.
It would be
Yeah.
definitely no.
Yeah. So that has to do with the rearing of children.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
I don't get there yet.
Yeah.
All right. I also noticed as a little boy, because I was what they call the last boy, wash belly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I realized that my introduction into the home gave my father little bit of space with my mother.
Mm.
Right? And I was cognizant of it, but it was okay. Whose comfort I would vie for more, his or mine?
Right.
and
And
so I will stick on to mama.
So those are some of the challenges that will come up.
Yes.
Yes, but we don't talk about those when we're dating.
No,
Right.
no.
And so that's the point.
One of the surest way to lose your wife
Yeah.
is to have a child.
Exactly. It is the point of danger.
Yes.
And I have noticed this in many relationships, and that's why I'm bringing it up here this morning, that pregnancy often strain
Yes.
the marriage. Pregnancy often strains the marriage, and it strains the relationship through a number of factors, intense emotional shifts that
Yes.
take place, and I'll go into them in detail. Physical exhaustion,
Yes.
altered intimacy,
Mhm.
right? There's sometimes communication breakdown. There's financial stress that comes. There's a host of problems that has to be examined before we decide to go into pregnancy.
There are many women, and especially these days, many women who are very conscious about how they look,
Yeah,
whether they're pregnant or not, how they look after the child.
after the child. Yes,
Right?
yes,
And this also has a lot of influence on how. I'm sorry to be saying it this way, but it's a reality. It can affect how the man relates to you.
that's correct. Body images, shifts
Yes,
in size.
yes.
Yes. So we're going to dive into that a little. One of the things that we want to at least start by saying when a young couple decides when they do get married and they decide, should we have a child or should we
Yes.
not have a child? It's important that you sit down and we say, count the cost.
Yes.
We encourage every couple, as far as possible, to build a family. That's what God wants. Malachi says, why do we make you one? Why does he make us one? Because he wants godly children. So we encourage that. However, it is important to avoid the stresses and the strains that pregnancy and child rearing brings into the relationship. It is important that couples sit down and meticulously work these things through. All right. One, the timing. So one of the first things we recommend to young couples that you do not get pregnant in the same year that you get married. Right? That's the first thing. It's very, very important that you delay pregnancy as much as you possibly can after marriage. In other words, you create at least a year or two for you and your spouse to blend together, to concretize the relationship, to have some fun together. Because when the children come,
Done.
yeah, that's it.
That's the end of that phase.
The honeymoon phase is over. All right,
Yes.
right, and you get to build and you get a stronger foundation in order to build that family. All right. So if you're particularly young, if you're married in your early 20s, then you do have 2 or 3, 4 years before you hit your 30s. Then you get some time in order to build that relationship. So you really want to avoid bringing in the pregnant. Don't get pregnant on your honeymoon, for example. Right? Yeah, that's a pile of issues that you're courting there. So timing is one. Then you have to understand how it's going to affect us. Yes, we want the children, but how it's going to affect us. And you talk about body images, for example. You talk about shifts in emotional connectivity, all right, roles in the family, financial implication.
If you're studying,
right, precisely. If we want to study, do we start have children or do we finish our studies first? All of those things need to take discussions need to be had before we jump into that phase of the relationship. And so I really want to encourage couples to consider this, have a good talk before.
I want to give you something that you could tell couples, right? There are several things that happens that you don't budget for, because you might even budget for regular things that you think, but there are the other things that happen.
Yes.
For example, you have no control whether your child is born autistic.
That's correct.
Or not.
That's correct.
Or a simple challenge of whatever it is, that sometimes the budget adds up a lot if you're dealing with just...
If you have a medical challenge. And some of them are permanent, right?
Yes.
Yes. Very, very. So all of those things need to happen. Yes. So here are some of the... My eyes were open to this strain that pregnancy and childbearing brings to relationship many years ago. And I use this sometimes in my sessions. Many years ago, when I was a young pastor, when I started pastoring, I was an intern pastor at the Mandeville Church. Oh, by the way, those of you listening, Mandeville will be coming to you in the month of May. Right? The Countdown to the End campaign will be smack in the middle of Mandeville in the month of May, so I'll be there. But I was an intern pastor at the Mandeville Church, many in 1994, 95, somewhere up there. And on Tuesdays, we usually have what we call vestry days, where people in the community will come to the pastor's office at the church, and whatever they need, we would have been there. If they want prayer, most of them come to bless their babies, right? But what I've noticed is that particularly those babies were born out of wedlock. They tend to bring them there on Tuesdays. So we'd bless the babies. Now, back then, they used to have a book with certificates, with the dedication certificates in it. And it's like a checkbook, right? It's perforated. Yes. So we write up the certificates and give to the mother. And then we keep a stub, check like the stubs for it, so that we also keep a copy of the record. And each book had 100 pages, right? So I noticed that as I was writing and going through, I noticed that, and as the mothers were coming with their children, with their babies, I noticed the fathers were not coming. Right. It was just very clear in my mind. And I started going back over all the stubs that were written up and noticed that those who were coming were not married, and they were single mothers, and the fathers were not coming to the baby dedication. So I started asking. I reached page 99, one leaf left, right? And that's when I picked up the trend, and I went back searching all the leaves and realized almost all of them, there was no father. So I said, okay, let me start ask these girls when they come to dedicate their babies, what happened to the father? And believe it or not, everyone, right? Every one of them say, the relationship is over. The relationship mash up. Pastor, we're no longer together. They're no longer. So I said, what happened? And they would say, I don't know, as soon as the baby born, as soon as the baby born, as soon as the baby born, as soon as the baby born. And I realized, there's a trend here. So I began looking into it. And then I realized that's what's happening. They were not prepared for the challenges that pregnancy brings.
And they crumble under it.
They crumble under it. Because here, not only that, on the contrary, they are led to believe that if we have a child together, right, yes, sir, it will bind us closer together. That's a false, very, very false notion, right? False expectation that leads to so much devastation because a child does not necessarily bind you together. The child comes with a lot of stress that breaks the relationship.
So for those for men who are not married and have children that way, it might not an intention for a marriage, while a lot of times the woman on the other
Yes.
side is looking for that security.
Exactly. Think
So
that
she-
it is so.
So she went that extra mile.
That's correct. That is correct. Because again, what women are looking for is that security in the
Security.
relationship, that stability in the relationship, that permanency in the relationship. So in their thinking, particularly women who are not exposed, who are not learned, who are not, informed, educated, there's a tendency to believe in many of our cultural in our society that if a child comes in, then it will hold us together. That is so far from the truth, right? so far from the truth.
It's a big risk.
It's a huge risk. So women who are going to be pregnant, you really need to take a second look at this, right?
Yes.
So what are the problems then that pregnancy brings up and childbearing brings up?
Pastor, let me just add this in.
Yes.
It just came to my mind. Cayman is a transient place.
Yes.
And many persons would come here for a better life. Within this local, there are a lot of predators that will make promises to females who are of lower
Economic society.
yes,
Economical
yes.
society. Yes.
and the woman might be looking for a real way out and think that this is it.
Yep.
And you get pregnant and have to leave and go back home to your poor country with your child.
That's correct. And it happens so many times.
It happens.
So many times.
Be careful.
It is a huge area that you have to be extremely careful.
Yes,
Very
yes.
careful. All right. So here's how it affects the relationship. Number one, we talk about harmonial shifts. Sometimes couples are not aware that once pregnancy occurs in the body, right, there's a whole host of changes
Yes.
that take place in the female's body, right? There's changes in their hormone level. And these hormonal changes can cause mood swings, right?
And mood swings can cause irritation
And
for the
mood
next person.
swings, exactly. You get the point, right?
If you don't understand,
If you don't understand that, you can see how you used to have such a wonderful relationship with this person, but all of a sudden, this person have some very precarious mood swings and major shifts in mood, making it harder to maintain emotional stability. They anger, very easily anger. They are irritated. They are depressed. They don't want to talk. And it causes irritability and sensitivity, and we have a lot of arguments in the relationship, right? While pregnancy is taking place, and what argument does, it kills that connectivity, it kills the bonding, right? So that's one of the first sign of trouble that couples need to be prepared for, right? So you guys may be on a good roll together. Spending quality time together, communicate well with each other, enjoy the relationship, and then as soon as pregnancy comes in, we're fighting a lot. We don't know why we're fighting a lot. The simplest thing I say, she blows up, right? And you have to be prepared for that.
I would think also that this is a new thing for the woman too, and sometimes she might not even realize that there's a change in her mood. She's just reacting because she's
That's
irritated.
correct. Yeah, yes. And that's why education is necessary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So mood swings, big problem, especially if the man does not understand and then toe to toe with her, right? Because the mood swing is in her, not necessarily in him.
Yes.
In him, right?
Yes.
So he's the state, but he has to understand and cannot react to the mood swings and understand. Okay, this is what is happening. She's pregnant. Her moods are all over the place. So you just have to be patient with her and to get through this. The next big thing, particularly again, that will affect the man, right? It is caused from the woman, but it may affect the men mostly, is reduced intimacy, right? Yep. Again, fatigue when a woman is pregnant. And by the way, I must be careful to say, this doesn't apply to all women.
Yes.
All right.
The opposite is also true.
Yes, there are exceptions, but in many cases, when there's pregnancy, it affects intimacy. Right? You have fatigues, you have sicknesses that can take place. Sometimes there's discomfort, right, in the process that can significantly lower sexual desires. Right? So that's another factor. So you may end up with needs that are not being met. Now, here's how the thing is set up in the relationship. You must keep in the mind at all times that it is the woman who is pregnant and not the man. All right. Why is that necessary? Because the changes are taking place in the woman and not necessarily the man. So we talked about the mood swings a while ago. It is in the woman and not necessarily the man. We see the change in libido, for example, right? It is mainly in the woman and not necessarily the man because the changes are taking place in her, right? And so unless you have a understanding partner, you can see how we're going to have problems in this relationship. Right? Because her desire for sex may not be at the same level that it was before. Right? And if he does not understand that, then he's going to have some needs, sexual needs that are not met. And when men's sexual needs are not met, it tends to frustration, it leads to anger, it leads to argument. And if she has mood swings already and now we are arguing over sex, you can see how we can explode quite easily.
And the argument may not be over sex because probably the man is not saying it.
Yeah.
But he's irritated.
It is irritated. So we have these factors that are going to affect us. We'll pick up some more of these signs after the break. But if you're just joining us, we're dealing with should we get children? Should we have children? We're married, but should we have children? And when should we do?
Yes.
We'll bring up some more of the challenges that pregnancy brings in a relationship right after the break.
And if you have questions, you can call us after the break at 945-9029. That's 945-9029. Or send a WhatsApp to 517-1122. That's 345-517-1122.
Is your marriage in need of renewal? At the Institute for Essential Care, our Marriage Institute offers spiritual care counseling, marriage and premarital counseling, and guidance for couples preparing to start a family. The Institute for Essential Care. Call us today at 1-345-325-7556. Email us at tifecscheduling@gmail.com. Visit us online at www.caymanessentialcare.com.
All right, right start on a Thursday morning, starting your day with a smile. We're back on Family Matters with Dr. Shina Kwana. Should you or should you not get pregnant when you get married?
and if you choose to get pregnant, as again we try to encourage folks to do so if you think that's important to you, but critically is be aware of the challenges that pregnancy brings into the relationship. Just don't jump into the whole aspect of child rearing because there are a number of factors that strain the relationship. And we're saying marital relationship, any kind of romantic relationship, they're at their greatest threat once children come into the relationship. And we're going through the reasons behind that. So we talk about the whole matter of hormonal changes and how that affect the relationship. We talk about the changes in libido and how that affects the relationship, and reduce physical intimacy, that is, and how that will affect the relationship. Communication breakdown is another factor, right? Sometimes people are stressed, especially for mothers who have to wake up so often with a young baby. The lack of sleep, the exhaustion can take a toll on them. So their tolerance level is very low. And so communication becomes a problem. There's just a host of problems that you have to be prepared for if you are not prepared for that going into the relationship.
I could tell you, for me, with all of these things, it brought to me a greater level of appreciation for women.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Because when I remember when I was doing my best to stay up some hours, Shian would always wake up.
Yeah.
Even now, she doesn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
So I would stay up, and it's my time, and I would have her in my hand, rocking her to sleep, and she just put me to sleep.
Yeah. Put you to sleep.
She just puts me to sleep, and then I woke up. I wake up probably I don't know long after, and I see Katie with her on the other side rocking. Like I really try.
It's a lot, and you made a point. You made a very good point. Sometimes we are not as appreciative.
Yeah, we need to be appreciated
because it's not just that the fact that she has gone through 9 months of carrying this baby and
by herself,
and delivering this, but even after, the exhaustion that comes in. And we're gonna in the last section of this program, we're gonna talk about how you avoid those risk factors. But yes, those are some of the concerns. Lack of sleep, particularly for the mom, and sometimes for the man as well. Right, the exhaustion that comes with it, and when you lose sleep, right, you become intolerant, and communication become a problem. Worse if your moods are swinging again, as we talk about that. So you can see really a recipe for major challenges there. Another factor that you have to take in consideration is the financial piece. There's financial stress that will come with a child, right? Sometimes people are not prepared for this. There's so many financial costs
just with a normal child.
Just with a normal child, and worse if they become abnormal. Right?
Yes.
So there are factors that you have to put into consideration. Here's another piece again that you have to take into consideration: the extended family, increased pressures from extended family members that you have to be dealing with. Right. So if you really sit down and pencil these things out, you realize there's a host of issues,
and especially if you're a young couple.
Yeah,
if you're a young couple, I don't think there's pressure only for the father from the extended couple family, right? Sometimes the father's mother thinks that that's not the way to rear the child,
and they want to impose upon you.
Yes.
So you can then see, Dwayne, how many attacks the relationship is getting from all handles. And that's why relationships tend to fail so much after the birth of a child.
Yes.
Right? It is a huge risk factor. Here's another piece. Role changes.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Role changes.
Yes.
Because now, and this is the piece that I'd like to take on, and I do not want our time to run out before I go to this phase, and this phase as to how do we mitigate against these risk factors that threaten the relationship when a child is born. How do we mitigate that? And if there's anybody listening, any couple listening, anybody going into marriage, anybody just being married and you're contemplating pregnancy, I want you to take note of this. Number one, part of the problem that causes the strain in the relationship is that before marriages, and I'm going to take my time on this one very slowly, before marriage, right, we were a lover, or before pregnancy, let's put it that way. We're married, no children in the relationship as yet. We were lovers. We were lovers.
No need for a certain rule.
Right, right. The mode that our brain was stuck in is what I call the lover mode. So we were lovers. The lovers come together, right? Conception takes place.
Yes.
Pregnancy takes place.
Yes.
What happened? The pregnancy takes place only in the mother's body. or in the female body. So now the female changes, her brain changes from lover mode
To
to
mother.
mother mode. Right?
While husband,
While husband brain is
It's
still
still in-
stuck in lover mode.
yes,
Right?
because baby not born yet.
Because exactly.
Enough
So-
father.
So what's so what's going to happen? We have a lover mode brain with a mother mode brain, and the two try to connect together. We're going to have a problem here.
Yes,
right.
yes.
That's where the problem begins. Right. That's where the major problem begins. So one of the ways to address this is that when the female changes to mother mode from lover mode, male has to change from lover mode to father mode.
To
right?
balance.
Yeah, in order to balance. And the question is, how do we get the male brain to change from lover mode to father mode? The female brain changes because there's a biological change happening inside of her. Right? Entire body changes, hormone changes, physical changes, all of that. But no change is taking place in the man. How do we get
Physically.
his brain to change? His brain will change, right? Not by any biological changes taking place in him, but by him taking an active role
In the pregnancy.
in the pregnancy.
So if you notice, I guess that's where this thought came from.
Yes.
Right? When I was younger, you didn't hear that. My wife and I were pregnant.
Yeah.
You never hear that.
Precisely. Now you're hearing
Now
that.
you
sir.
hear that.
Yes, because the man has to be pregnant also.
Yes, yes.
Right?
yes.
And the pregnancy of the man is not necessarily a biological pregnant.
Mm-hmm,
No. It's a psychological pregnant. It's a mental pregnant. It's an emotional pregnant. Is a pregnant that says, I am fully active in the process.
And when that happens, there is a better chance for the child.
The better chance for the child is a better chance for the relationship.
Yes, yes.
So somebody may be out there and asking, so how does the
A man get pregnant then?
Right?
Yes.
That's a good question. I'll tell you how the man gets pregnant. So the man gets pregnant by full and complete participation in every activity. Example, when she goes to doctor for her first checkup, you go to doctor with
Go
her.
to doctor.
Yes, sir.
You need to find out what's happening.
Yep. When she goes for the ultrasound, you
Yeah.
need to go to ultrasound with her, right? When they go to buy the little paraphernalia for the babies, the bottles and the shimmies and all the other, and then all the other stuff, go with her, right? When she goes for delivery, right? Oh, by the way, even before we reach delivery, when she goes for her exercise, if she join any of these exercises, go with her. Yes. Be involved in the entire process.
But you know why that is critically important, Dr. O'Connor? Even though pregnancy is not a sickness,
Yes.
it's not a sickness.
No, it's not.
Right?
It is far from being a sickness.
Right? But your wife's life is so threatened.
Is in danger,
Is
precisely.
in danger.
And you are part of that process that put her life in danger.
So you have to be there to
So
protect
you
her.
have to be there to be with her.
Yeah,
Right?
to protect her.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when she goes for delivery,
Yes.
don't let her go alone. The doctor will allow you in the delivery room.
Yes.
Stand by there holding her hand. Yeah. Give her the assurance. And by the way, you know what it is for a woman when you know that is there, when she's going through this thing, it brings assurance to her. It brings a comfort level to
Yes.
her, right? And you are part and parcel of the process.
Yes.
When you experience that process, man, you're pregnant. You're fully pregnant,
Yeah.
and you are emotionally bound to this process.
Yes. Because sometimes you might have to shed some of the tears.
Exactly.
Even though you don't feel the pain.
Exactly.
The physical pain.
Exactly.
Unfortunately for me, I was not allowed in the room
Oh, you were not
because it was cesarean.
Section.
right?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But I give you my experience.
Yes.
When my daughter was born, and everybody was just out there happy. Oh, cute baby, and blah 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 blah. To be honest with you, she was not my main focus because
Katie was.
after the C-section, she still
Yes.
she was
You're not out of the woods as yet.
no
Yeah.
she was still
Mm.
sleeping and whatever it is. I know this from experience that many persons can put you to sleep, but it's only God can wake you back up.
Yep, that's good. That's correct.
And for me, the whole stress started. If Katie did not come back, how the hell am I gonna take care of this child?
Absolutely. And those
Right?
and those are you would not have had those thoughts had you not been in the process.
Well, I can
That's the
tell you
point I'm making.
from
Yes.
day one, I just know that a number of things can happen because I've seen persons who develop a fever and didn't make it home, and so my prayer life in pregnancy is at 100%.
Yeah.
Praying for protection. Praying for
Take her
protection.
home. Take her home.
From day one.
Yep.
Right. That's it. Children might be even born normal. I know a child, my friend's only child, born normal, had a fever, went to hospital, got an injection, and was just crippled for the rest of her life.
The risk is high. The risk is very high.
Okay.
So here's the thing then. It's hard to disassociate yourself, right? After you've been involved, right? See, when you're involved at that level, I guarantee you end up being a better father. So my take on it is be there for her through the process, for them through the process. When the baby is born, man, you're one of the first arms that the baby can come into.
Somebody said, corrected, said both parents are expecting a child.
Yes.
Only woman can get pregnant.
Yeah. Well, technically that is so, but we're talking about, and that's why we explain
Get
it.
the mindset.
Yeah, mindset.
Mindset,
Pregnancy is a psychological pregnancy, a mental pregnancy. Yes. That's what we're talking about. It's not just expectation. We are talking about participating in the process.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Very, very important stuff. That the male participate in the process, be there through the whole thing. And even Dwayne, it's not only finished. When the baby is born, right?
Yes.
And you go home with the baby, right? The process is not over. Now, mothers have breasts for them to breastfeed their babies. Fathers don't. But you can still be part of the breastfeeding function. And how does that happen? I remember when my wife gave birth, right? And she breastfeeds. I am the one, as soon as she's finished breastfeeding, I take the baby over
Burp him.
and I burp the baby. I walk and burp the baby. And she goes off to sleep while I keep the baby. Yep.
Yeah.
And we are partners in the process.
Yeah.
I remember my children would sleep on my chest, right? Because I'll keep them and we fall asleep. Up to now, I don't understand why they wake up every 2 hours. They're young. You can put that clock, right? Every 2 hours they'll be up. But I was part of the process.
Yes.
And so one of the challenges I would say, counsels I will give to fathers, right? Be part of the process. Don't leave it for her. So that, okay, I'm going to work and I have to leave her. No. Be part of the process. Because if you do, then watch this now. Then the two brains shift from lover mode, right, to parenting mode, mother mode and father mode. And that's how you keep the relationship together. Because then the woman feels supported. She feels that she was not alone in this. And another thing that it does, which I almost forgot, it almost firewall the relationship against infidelity, right? Because again, it is at the point of pregnancy that many relationships fall into infidelity, right? Or where, again, because one person is stuck in lover mode and the other person's shift, then this person is likely to find interest elsewhere because there's no sex taking place here. We have a lot of argument, we have a lot of fights, we have a lot of shift in emotion. And so this relationship become toxic. And you can see how easily one become vulnerable to somebody else. And it is happening at the time when a baby is on the way. It is the worst time possible to ever have that. And so mothers tend to feel betrayed at the time when their spouse or their husband or their lover during her pregnancy find somebody else's arms and interest to be in. And so part of getting involved as a father from day one right through the whole process is to ensure that, part of protecting the relationship is to ensure that you are involved all the way, right? All the way through the process. And by the way, you know how beautiful it is to see fathers getting involved in
Yes,
babies?
yes.
Oh, man.
Yes.
It is awesome.
It look masculine.
It is masculine.
It look masculine.
Yeah.
Let me just say though, it also creates a generational culture,
Yes.
because the child who grew up and experienced this will reciprocate.
Exactly.
Yes.
Precisely. It passes down through the line. You build. It is hard for me to see a father who is so invested in the process. It's hard to see a father abandoning that child, walking away from that child. It is very hard to see. It may happen, but it's very, very hard to see, because to the extent that the Bible says, can a mother forget her suckling child, right? It's to the extent you can, as a father, that can be applicable to the father also, who has taken so much interest in the process. And so, guys who are out there, if you are considering having a child, then I'm saying the way to protect the relationship from being strained or from infidelity during that phase, or from breaking up, or from splintering during that phase, is to be 100% active in the relationship, in the process of pregnancy. Just don't send the mother to the doctor. Don't give her the money to buy the stuff. Go with her, support her, be part of the process, and you build that relationship not just with her but with the child, right? And even after the child is born, the father and the child will be tight, right, Dwayne? You can experience that. I can experience that because we have been there in the process, and it is something we want to encourage your fathers to do. And by the way, that is why it is so painful when, let's talk about the situation here in Cayman, when a woman gets pregnant for somebody here and then she has to leave and go back to Jamaica to have the baby all by herself, or to Cuba or to Honduras or wherever she's from, to have the baby all by herself. That is problematic, based on what we're just saying.
That is torture.
That is highly problematic, and that places that relationship at high risk, right? You can easily say, well, when I was going through this child, you were not there with me. I don't know where you were. And you can see how, you can hear the arguments coming down the road.
High risk, and also not just for the relationship, but also for the child.
Yes.
It's just
a kind of disconnect from the child.
It's just a devastation. It's not God's plan.
It is not God's plan, precisely. It is not God's plan. So you really want to sit down and calculate the cost. Then, lastly, some people, again, are not aware of this. So even after everything, the baby is born, everything is well, and you're doing all right, there's one more risk that lurks in the background, right? That just lurks in the shadows. It is called postpartum depression. This lurks in the background. This lurks in the shadows. And that is and again, it affects the mother.
Yes.
Oh my, I'm so sorry for the women in this case. Again, all of these things, if you go through them, all of these things, they target the mom, right? Postpartum depression is a very serious, I may borrow this little word, right? It's a nasty depression, right? That affects predominantly the mothers who, after the birth of a child, maybe a couple months after, some people even after a year after the child is born, there's the feeling of just lowness, down feeling, lack of energy, feeling worthless, feeling hopeless, demotivated. Some women have just complete disconnection from the baby. They don't even want to see the baby. They have no drive, no motivation. They just don't want to do anything. They just want to roll over, and they can't explain it.
The absence of the girlfriend life.
Yeah, completely. If the spouse is not au fait on this, if they're not aware of this, it can create another huge problem.
They take it personal.
Because now that the baby is born, the work is intensified to feed the baby, to clean the baby, to make sure that all is well. Plus, you have house duties to be done. And so, if she's not having that energy anymore, that motivation or that drive, and she just the place is left in a mess. She's not motivated to anything. You can see how we're going to have a problem. Postpartum depression affects so many women. And if you are experiencing that after a child is born, right, then it is important that you seek help. Right? We have seen so many cases of postpartum depression. In fact, couples don't even know that it was postpartum depression because it's not talked about in some circles. So if you're experiencing anything like that, it's important that you seek help because it can really pose an additional risk to the relationship if you do not understand what is happening. Right?
Yeah.
So seek help. Find a counselor if that is happening to you. Talk to somebody. One more piece I'd like to put in. Usually, and let me just drop this in because this is important. Usually when a child is being born, particularly for the first child, family members will come to give support. Maybe the mom will come or the aunt will come or sisters will come, and they'll come for a couple of weeks or probably months and they give support, right? And while they are there, things are going well. Everybody's happy. But usually when they are gone, right, that's when the postpartum depression tends to set in because you're by yourself, right? And so mothers, you need to be aware of this, and it's good for you to read up as much as you can on postpartum depression and anticipate it so that when it comes, you can recognize it and you know how to deal with it. If you get treatment, normally we use CBT, which is an effective intervention, talk therapy. Or if it becomes necessary, if it becomes crucial, some people may recommend medication. I don't necessarily do that because, of course, sometimes the mothers are breastfeeding, so you don't want to add to that. But CBT is a very effective therapeutic intervention that will help to break that cycle of depression. And it is important that the couples attend therapy, not just the mom who is depressed, but the couple attends the therapy. Right? The father comes along so that he understands the process.
I just want to share the job description for a mother, just in case a woman out there thinks she should get pregnant. This is what it comes with. It's a full-time role. You work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yep.
You work at home and everywhere the family needs you. The pay is, you're paid in love, appreciation, and a lifelong memory, or sometimes pain. Right? The summary is the mother's position is responsible for emotional, physical, and moral development of children and the support of the husband. The role requires compassion, resilience, patience, and the ability to multitask in a dynamic and often unpredictable environment.
Wow.
The key responsibilities provide unconditional love, guidance, and emotional support to the children, prepare meals, and ensure the family's nutrition needs are met every time, maintain a safe, nurturing, and organized home environment, and clean up the house. Right. Right. Teach values such as kindness, respect, responsibility, faith, and patience. Assist with schoolwork, and these days is a different assistant to schoolwork, right? Assist with schoolwork activities and personal development. Provide comfort during illness, disappointments, and difficult moments. Manage schedules, appointments, and daily family routines, because that might not remember them. Encourage growth, discipline, and positive behavior. Celebrate achievements and support children through challenges. And the required skills and qualifications are exceptional patience and understanding, strong problem solving and conflict resolution skills, ability to multitask and manage the family effectively, emotional intelligence and empathy, strong communication and teaching abilities, resilience and adaptability in challenging situations. And your perfect attributes are the ability to function with little or no sleep, skilled in negotiation and diplomacy, because you know the children always negotiating, right? Expert in hugs, encouragement, and reassurance, capable of turning ordinary moments into lifelong benefits. And the benefits, listen to benefits again, quite not much different from the salary. Lifelong love and appreciation, the joy of watching your children grow and succeed, the privilege of shaping the next generation.
Interesting. They missed something out of that.
Yes.
Any other duties?
Any other duties? Any other duties?
It would be interesting to see what the father's job description are.
Any other duties?
Any other duties?
Every other duties.
Man. That's how we bring this
Yes,
morning's session.
yes.
We hope it was a blessing to you. As we talk about considering bringing children into the relationship and the strain it brings in marriage, and hoping and trusting that you pick up something from this. We can probably look at that even more in depth at the next session.
Yes.
But we hope it was a blessing to you.
And whether or not the husband is there,
Yeah.
supporting you 100%, that is your role. What I just read is just a perfect
It's a
description of
natural
your
role.
natural role of a mother.
Yeah.
So be prepared that if you can do that, if you do any shortcut, it's going to result in how the child turns out.
So one line of counsel for women getting pregnant, right?
Yes.
Do not allow yourself to be pregnant for anybody, any man who cannot be there for you for the process.
Yes.
If they can't be there for the process
During and after.
that should be your one of your criteria.
yes,
I'll leave that with you for the day.
All right. It's 9:03 in the morning. Is the end of Family Matters for this morning. Remember, if you have any of these challenges, you can reach out to Dr. Shine O'Connor and the other clinicians.
And the team at caymanessentialcare.com. So go online and find us at caymanessentialcare.com. We'll be happy to relate to you with any of the... If you're preparing to get married, you can see us. If you're thinking about having children and you'd like to come in and discuss that with us, and we'll prepare you for that, come and see us. If after your child is born, you're going through postpartum depression, come on and see us as well. We'll be a whole team. We'll be there to work with you. caymanessentialcare.com, and we'll be happy to work with you as your family therapist.
I really think that we need to pick up on this again next week. There are so many pieces to this.
Yep.
There are so many pieces. There are persons who thinks that their biological clock is running out.
Yep.
And though they don't see the supporting partner, they think it's necessary to have a child, and they might just have a child. But
right, so we can look at it. If your biological clock is running out and you're without a child, what should you do? Join us next week.
All right. This has brought us the end of Right Start for this morning also. Be sure to join us again tomorrow as we do it all over.
Want to raise emotionally strong children? At the Institute for Essential Care, our Emotional Intelligence Camp helps kids build confidence,